You're not going to back me down until it changes. I'm not clarifying nothing, TMZ. No, I'm not talking specifically about businessmen. I'm talking about you, TMZ. I'm talking about the media also. I'm talking about the entire culture.
It's Throwback Thursday, and Worldwide Entertainment TV takes a look at the history of artists against the media and the phenomenon of cancel culture recently with Kanye West. Regardless where you stand with Ye, we can't deny the history of artists raging against the media. What many consider to be the first true rock stars of modern-day music, the Beatles, even they couldn't withstand the cancel culture of their day. Beatlemania ran wild in the 60s, and in the summer of 1966, it all came crumbling down when John Lennon's "more popular than Jesus" remark was the first true cancel culture moment.
More better than Jesus himself, and the Ku Klux Klan, being a religious order, is going to come out here the night that they appear at the Coliseum here, and we're going to demonstrate with different ways and tactics to stop this performance. The Klan is going to come out here because we're the only organization that will come out and make a stop to these accusations. This is nothing but blasphemy, and we're going to try to stop it any terror way we can, but it's going to stop. We're known as a terror organization. I think we have
a terror organization.
We have ways and means to stop this if this is going to be the case. Yes.
What ways and means?
Well, I don't want to say this, but there'll be a lot of surprises Monday night, I believe, when they get here.
People always got the image I was anti-Christ or anti-religious. I'm not at all. I'm a most religious fellow.
I'm not going to get into the religious controversy that you've answered at least 800 times. I do want to ask you, though, do you think that this statement or statements of that type, are you testing your popularity?
No, there was no, I wasn't thinking of anything else but what I was saying to this person who was talking to me at the time. And reactions, or anybody's reaction, that you just can't, I wasn't thinking of two things at once. I was just talking to her in my own home, you know, so I wasn't thinking of anything else.
Will you be a little more careful in your answers? I know that all of you are very frank in your answers.
We're as frank as we can be, you know. We don't like double talking, so sometimes it offends people, and sometimes you've got to sort of double back and retrace your steps to explain exactly what you mean, but you still mean the same thing, you know. Only you've got to, some people need it phrasing in political language, you know.
Some of the newspapers, the press here, said that concerning the remark that you made comparing the relative popularity of the Beatles with Jesus Christ, and that the Beatles were more popular. This created quite a controversy and a furor in this country, as you are obviously aware.
Do you know that, John? You created it.
Now, would you clarify the remark?
Well, I've clarified it about 800 times, you know. I could have said TV or something else, you know, and that's as clear as it can be. I just used Beatles because I know about them a bit more than TV. I could have said any number of things. Wouldn't have got as much publicity, though.
My question is directed at...
Sensible people took it for what it was, and it was only the bigots that took it up and thought it was, you know, on their side. They thought, haha, here's something to get them for.
Now, this religious controversy, I know you don't want to say too much about it, but does it worry you that it's going to boil up when you get to the States?
Well, it worries me, yes, but I hope everything will be all right in the end of the day.
Well, I think the Beatles are a real talented group, but I think that they need to watch what they say, because they're in such a position that a lot of teenagers really think of them as something really big, and when they say things like that, some teenagers are going to just believe anything they say.
No, I'm not saying that we're better or greater or comparing us with Jesus Christ as a person or God as a thing or whatever it is. You know, I just said what I said and it was wrong or was taken wrong, and now it's all this.
Did you mean that the Beatles are more popular than Christ?
When I was talking about it, it was very close and intimate with this person that I know who happens to be a reporter. I was using expressions on things that I just read and derived about Christianity, only I was saying it in the simplest form that I know,
which is the natural way I talk.
What's the most enjoyable thing to you about this adulation, this almost godhood on earth that you've achieved?
Don't say that. It was him. He said it. You all saw that.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky.
In 1966, the Roman Catholic Church was incensed, but they came around 42 years later. The Pope forgave John Lennon, stating the remark by John Lennon, which triggered deep indignation mainly in the United States, after many years sounds only like a boast by a young working-class Englishman faced with unexpected success. After growing up in the legend of Elvis and rock and roll, the imagined singer would see a deadly end to his life in 1980 when at age 40, he was gunned down on the steps outside his home in New York.
West Side. In a matter of minutes, John Lennon was dead. His fans and friends held solemn vigils around the world then, as they're doing tonight, 1 year later.
Well, parole is denied once again for the man who killed John Lennon. Mark David Chapman shot Lennon in the back 4 times in December of 1980. He was sentenced to 20 years to life after pleading guilty. In recent years, Chapman has expressed some remorse for killing Lennon, but Lennon's widow, Yoko Ono, has reportedly submitted a number of letters asking the board to deny parole. Chapman has now been denied 12 times. He will again be eligible to seek parole in 2 years.
Bob Marley is revered as the greatest reggae artist of all time, but his heyday he was considered to be a threat to the normal and culture to some of the media. In Toronto in 1978, the legend was interviewed by a racist media lady. The 1980s was the Michael Jackson's peak of popularity. But it was also the start of social media before social media, when he would appear weekly in tabloids such as The Inquirer. Things escalated in the 90s when mainstream media would follow suit. Let's go down memory lane with the king of pop. As we will see, the mainstream media could be your greatest asset or your biggest determining factor in your downfall.
And I've been all over the house upstairs when you weren't looking for that oxygen chamber. I cannot find the oxygen chamber anywhere in the house.
That story is so crazy. I mean, it's one of those tabloid things. It was completely made up.
Okay, but there you are in something there. There's a picture of you.
Well,
where did that come from? How did it get started?
I did a commercial for Pepsi, and I was burned very badly. And we settled for like it was $1 million, and I gave all the money. We built this place called the Michael Jackson Burn Center, and that's a piece of technology that's used for burn victims, right? So I'm looking at the piece of technology, I'm touching it, feeling it, and decide to just go inside of it just to hammer around. Somebody takes a picture. When they process the picture, the person who processes the picture say, oh, Michael Jackson. He made a copy. These pictures went all over the world with this lie attached to it.
His best-selling album is called Thriller, and it could just as easily be his nickname, for Michael Jackson brings a thrill a minute to his millions of fans. Add up the numbers. He is one of the most popular entertainers of all time, and these days, that means that he's also a one-man financial empire. Jack Perkins tonight on the phenomenon of Michael Jackson.
It's easy to think of Michael Jackson still as a child. In many ways he is. But he is also the man whose record, Thriller, has just become the biggest-selling album ever.
We love him. We all love him. All the kids, the whole family, everybody. We all love him.
Whose video is the biggest-selling in the world.
It's good music, good dancers, hot.
Who earned more Grammy nominations this year than anyone in history.
I think he single-handedly revitalized the music business. If Elvis took him into the stores in the 50s and the Beatles did it in the 60s, Michael Jackson is the man of the 80s.
40 million copies of his last LP, which was called Thriller. But that was 4 years ago. Since then, he's been searching for the inspiration to be able to do it again. Now, Mr. Jackson's come up with something that's bad. That's the title of his new album, which went on sale in America yesterday. Bob Friend reports on the singer, his latest songs, and his ever-changing image.
They were queuing all over America, snapping up the first copies of Michael Jackson's latest offering. It's called Bad, but it was a good day at the record shop tills. This was the Michael Jackson we used to know. After 5 years of comparative seclusion, he's changed his image. Long hair, an even gentler look.
It's a lot of talk. A lot of people are talking about it and how foolish he looks.
The look, well, the new look is not too hot, but the album is great, and he's a great entertainer.
For a star who shuns the spotlight, rarely if ever gives interviews, and appears excruciatingly shy, Michael Jackson has attracted a huge public following. What's been the reaction to the new record?
Michael Madness. You've heard of Beatlemania. This is Michael Madness. Everybody's coming in and buying Michael Jackson.
The question still remains, how will Jackson's new image affect his standing amongst his fans?
By making such a radical change in his appearance, he's going to offend a lot of people, particularly his black audience, which is the base of his appeal.
The real Michael Jackson went into hiding 14 years ago. Whatever we saw of him from then on was as carefully orchestrated as any of his celebrated performances. A young man vanished, and a legend took his place, which was both convenient and extremely profitable. Things that would seem strange, questionable, even suspect concerning a human being just enhanced the legend by shrouding the superstar in a mist of fantasy and mystery. Gestures that would be considered lewd for anyone else seemed cool and quite acceptable, even cute, when it came to Michael Jackson. After all, he was something different than anything we had ever known before, and so the rules that applied to others just didn't seem to apply to him at all, which appears odd, considering what a role model Michael Jackson had become to the children of the world.
A torrent of complaints means some edits for Michael Jackson's new video. Back after this.
Probably heard the uproar over the new Michael Jackson video.
The new Michael Jackson video is an event in itself,
which the pop world has waited for 4 years.
Did you see that new Michael Jackson video?
Even if you didn't like it, didn't understand it, or could really care less, you couldn't pull your eyes away from the spectacle.
Michael Jackson la compañía fa.
Rientro fastoso per Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson a todo.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Fox Broadcasting says that it made a mistake in broadcasting the 11-minute black or white video last night.
The international broadcast premiere of Black or White was immediately followed by uproar and condemnation. We played the short film for Elaine Blythe, president of the Film Advisory Board.
And all these kids in this film and the kids watching, look at the cheapers, I can't believe this.
Jackson said, quote, "It upsets me to think that black or white
could influence any child or adult to destructive behavior," Jackson said, either sexual or violent.
I deeply regret any pain or hurt the final segment of
Black or White has caused children, their parents, or any other viewers.
My guess is that it's Michael's childlike playfulness that got him into this problem, and it is his childlike openness that solved it. Michael will have some versions ready to replace it.
Michael Jackson.
Thanks for being with us here. You know, you can remind people, I mean, like we said, it doesn't seem that long ago, but what, it was 2009 when he died? I mean, talk a little bit about this special and why now?
Well, look, Conrad Murray was prosecuted, convicted, and served jail time for the involuntary manslaughter conviction involving Michael Jackson. If you think Conrad Murray is the reason Michael Jackson is dead, you don't know what really killed Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was being fueled by so many other doctors long before Conrad Murray came in the picture, fueled for not just years, for decades. That this goes back to 1984 when he was horribly burned during a Pepsi commercial shoot.
So when all the
fans and the estate and all the anger. You guys gonna get it. You know that, right? We're all gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. We're all gonna get it.
Michael's brother has already reacted to this on Twitter, saying so many in the media, including Oprah, are blindly taking Leaving Neverland at face value, shaping a narrative uninterested in facts, proof, credibility. We faced similar graphic claims in trial by media in 2005. Jury saw through it all. Trial by law proved Michael's innocence long ago. Fact.
As the 90s progressed, the hip-hop world also had a role in media that was both positive and negative, and none other than Tupac Shakur was front and center. Check out this throwback.
Violence which has decimated our communities, devastated our families, and destroyed the souls of so many of our youth. It is imperative that we stop the agendas that are not too relevant as this. The destruction of human life. Enough is enough. And I'd like someone to bring me what made me say enough is enough. Where's my graphic? Bring it up here, please, somebody. I am here to put the nation on notice that violence perpetuated against women through the music industry in the forms of gangster rap and misogynist lyrics will not be tolerated any longer. For reshaping and maintaining positive images to preserve the dignity and the heritage of our youth, instead of continuously exposing our youth to negative media that distorts their images of male-female relationships, that undermines the stability of our families, communities, and nation by encouraging violence, abuse, and sexism as acceptable behaviors, and perpetuates the cycle of low self-esteem of African American youth. Thus, images that degrade our dignity and are an insult to our children, our families, and communities concern us too. And that includes all this gangster rap and misogynist lyrics. Music that glorifies and promotes violence with guns, knives, or drugs, and denigrates and defames women. And with the release of Snoop Doggy Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style, that includes artwork that is nothing but pornographic smut, available to any child to go in and buy with the album and with a record.
Oh man! Kanye West!
Because I always wore like funny clothes, and kids were always like, what does she have on? What is that? What are those shoes? Why'd you put those shoes with that shirt? That doesn't match. You know, and then I'd go, you know, it's cool. And then like 3 or 4 months later, they'd have it on. And I said, but wait a minute, you said that my shoes didn't match my shirt. And they say, well, you know. So, but what I found is that every time that I pray before I speak, and I ask God for the confidence in that He be glorified in everything that I say and everything that I do. For some reason, words just come out of my mouth. So please don't be convinced by what people say. I'm not brilliant. I'm not a genius. I'm not even gifted, really. I mean, I have gifts, but these are things that all come from God and through me. You know, the music industry is just a microcosm of the world. So whenever you stand for something and you stand for goodness and truth, you will always get resistance. That's period. Whether you're in the pharmaceutical industry, the record industry, or whatever. Whenever you stand for truth and for the service, you know, the service of others. See, I could make money very easily. I could make records that are self-indulgent and, you know, basically self-promote me. I could do that. Promote myself. That was redundant, but you know what I mean. You know, just do those things. It's very easy. As a matter of fact, you know, lyrically as an MC, that stuff comes easy. But in order to promote something higher, I mean, I feel now at the ripe old age of 25, that the only thing that I could do is serve others. You understand what I'm saying? And because there are people who have not reached that point in their walk, you know, yes, there's a little anger, there's a little resentment, because you raise a standard, you know, you especially when you do it and you make some noise, you know, and you do it and people actually listen to what you have to say, and like your record is bumping on the radio and you're saying something that holds a mirror up to a lot of the negativity and self-indulgent things and messages that a lot of other people, you know, but we're all young. I mean, I have a hard time being so hard on the music world, especially hip hop, because most of them come out of the hood 17 years old, having no clue or concept, having no concept of what life really is. And because hip hop is so fast and what we like changes so quickly, by the time they do get a concept, they're no longer making records.
You should have the right to speak, even if you're wrong or right.
I should have the right to be wrong.
Right.
Yeah, I got the right to be wrong.
Say anti-Semitic shit if you know that you love.
I don't think you're saying anti-Semitic shit. That's the thing. I think you're owning that.
Okay, now
but you're not saying anti-Semitic
I'm gonna say,
things.
let's take the word Semitic, right, and say we're Jews. Semitic. I'm gonna name you some anti-Semitic shit right now, right? Because we're Jew. Let me put it like this. Remember I talked about the chakras? Remember I talked about Rick Rubin? I talked about the 808?
The chakras is real.
Now, I'm gonna say some anti-Semitic shit. I'ma fuck your bitch. I'ma kill this nigga. 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 That's the real anti-Semitic shit that the Jewish people get paid off of. Now let me little Apple move. Let me on Apple right now. How many people want to bet their house that content is not within the first 3 songs on Apple Rap Music?
Nobody.
What's up, Ye?
The fallout continues for Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, whose recent anti-Semitic comments have caused public outrage. This morning, Adidas, which helped make the rapper's Yeezy shoe and clothing line a multi-billion-dollar business, severed ties with him. A major blow to his brand and bottom line, putting his career in jeopardy.
The history of controversial artists and media reporting has been going on since the Beatles and Elvis Presley drama of yesteryear. In 2022, with social media, who knows where Kanye will land in the historical context of it all. This has been Throwback Thursday with Worldwide Entertainment TV.